Macomb County Messi, as they're calling him in the streets.
That's right. Yes.
Matt Sheehan. So for those that are not aware, Matt was forced to sub for my indoor soccer team this past Sunday.
I was held at knife point. Yes,
Yep,
it was
that is correct.
terrible. Yep.
So how did that experience go for you, Matt?
I'm in the worst shape I've been in my entire life. The cardio is one of a man that smokes 3 packs of cigarettes a day and also eats 5 Big Macs. It's not good whatsoever. So naturally, had the opportunity to play some soccer with my good friend Justin over here, I had to say yes. Why not risk the very high chance of just croaking on the field up in Macomb County? So why not? He gave it a shot.
Yeah,
He gave it a go.
Made the long trek up north to the Upper Peninsula, as I believe you had put it.
Macomb is the UP.
Yep,
That's right.
That is correct.
Yep, that is where up north begins. M59 is that line where it begins. So
I'd say 24 mile, but it's close enough.
Close.
So Matt was playing right back. Played it as Serginho Dest for those that are U.S. men's national team fanatics.
Take his word for it.
And match rating, I'd say, was about an 8.8.
Is that good? Man
of the match if we had won, but we did not. I believe it was a 4-1 defeat.
Because I didn't die.
Yeah.
That's why. We did cover 4.5. So
yeah, which is a line we set like after the game ended, so we can say we covered.
It's great. Yeah. Good teams win, great teams cover.
That's right.
And intramural soccer teams, that goes the same. My calf muscle felt like it calcified the next 2 days. Like I was walking around my house like a dinosaur, but like not as a bitch, just because like my calf just ceased like working.
It was all those clearances that you had.
That was it. Yeah, all one that I had.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Playing like Chelsea era Fernando Torres on my part did not help up front, but
you could tell me literally anything with any soccer player's name right now, and I'm just going to take your word for it. You could make up a player's name, and I'd probably just nod my head being like, yeah, just like him.
So your soccer knowledge is on par with your movie knowledge?
No, soccer knowledge is a little better.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
a little
good.
better. Yeah.
Speaking of athletes that are in the prime of their career, just absolutely dominating on the field.
That's right.
We have joining us today from East Lansing, sophomore defensive back Dillon Tatum. Dillon, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, guys. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, for sure.
Glad to have you, man.
Yeah, we figured we'd give you spring practice without kind of bothering you, let you get that out of your way, and then obviously we had to have you after that. So first question for me, Dillon. You early enrolled last year. You had the spring practice under your belt last time around. This time around, you were not the new guy. You had experienced the offseason before. What was this camp like for you compared to last year?
It was a lot faster. It was just way less chaos for me personally because last year I came in as a nickel, and then like maybe a week before the spring game, they moved me to safety. I didn't know a thing. So it was very hard. And even a couple of practices last year, I did some corner stuff. So I'm like, I'm getting moved everywhere. I can't focus. I don't know what to do. So this year I got a chance to lock in and actually have some fun and work on my craft at one position. So it was a lot better compared to last year.
And with spring practice concluding, what are you most excited to just give a break here as you go in the summer? Like, are you just done with all the whistles? Is there a piece of equipment in the weight room that you're just thrilled that you don't have to go back to for a few more weeks? Or what are you excited to leave behind here as you guys are out of spring practice?
So as a team, we all hate the rowing machines, but I don't run from the work. My summer is mostly going to be spent in Australia. I'm going to Australia for study abroad.
So look at that.
That's a good time. So that's what I'm ready for.
Wow, sweet.
Yeah. You'll have to work with the Australian punters up there, and I'm sure that's the football field that you'll be using. And Dillon's going to come back, and he's going to be net punting 45 yards.
It's going to be amazing. Oh, man. I can't wait for this. This is great.
So Dillon, this time around, as you said, it's less chaotic for you, and that's to be expected as you've gotten another year under you. But over the past 12 months, what is one part of your game, what is an attribute that you think you have gotten better at yourself just working on it?
Really, like, just knowing what I'm doing, and also knowing the defense and what can happen and where's our weakness at in the defense. I think I've come a really long way. I can explain every defense we play, especially from the defensive backfield position. So one thing I'm working on is the front. That's what I'm working on. But linebacker-wise and and defensive backfield wise, I think I got it down. So I think I come a long way, like just football smarts.
And other than yourself, I know that spring practice was a really short period of time, but has anyone really just jumped from where they were at the end of last year to where they are right now, in your opinion?
Caleb Coley,
Okay.
Marquis Lowry. Who else, man? Those guys
you can
in
say
my
yourself.
position that
Yeah.
oh yeah,
That goes without saying. That's why he's here.
well, those guys had a really great spring this season, and you know the guys are always given good effort, and you know it's a lot of guys that get moved around a lot, so it makes it hard for some guys. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to be a really good team.
Yeah, so that's great to hear, because I know one of the things that is exciting to outsiders that look at this roster, it's how many people from that 2022 defensive back class are doing so well right now. You're looking at yourself, Caleb Coley, who you just named, Malik Spencer and Jada Mangum up top could have big roles this year. Malcolm Jones also in there. What is it like to see so many guys that you came in with immediately already kind of being in that two deep kind of range, or just making contributions and progressing well?
I mean, it just says a lot about our class. You know, it just tells everyone on the outside, like, man, we came to work. We came to play. We're not coming to mess around. We want to win some football games, and we want to move on and go to the league, but you can't do that without a good team. So we compete with each other every day, compete with each other all the time in the weight room also. It's just a great feeling to have guys that share the same interests as you do, you know, when you're out there.
And I just want to take the clock back to last fall. And obviously you came into Michigan State as a very highly touted recruit, just like, you know, as Justin said, a lot of the other 2022 kids. You played 118 snaps on defense, 144 snaps on special teams. That's the most of any freshman on the team. Honestly, were you surprised to see yourself play even that much as a true freshman? Or did you kind of come into Michigan State being like, yeah, that'll sound about right if that's how I end my freshman season with that many snaps?
Really, I knew I really wanted to play special teams. Like throughout my entire football career, I always knew special teams is like the thing that mattered the most to get on the field, especially when you have guys that are older and maybe better than you, you know? So when I got the opportunity defensive-wise, it kind of came a little fast, especially when they put me at corner the entire game.
Yeah,
I was like,
right.
okay. So that was a little different. But playing safety, that was fun. I was very comfortable there. So now that I'm at corner, a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I'm not running from the smoke. I'm just coming to get it. You know, got to guard guys, school down the road, and guys at that Ohio school, whatever they are, you know, got to get them up, you know, got to lock them down. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point right there about playing special teams, and you're ahead of your time kind of knowing that at a young age, because a lot of guys see it as not as glamorous, but like there are so many people in the NFL that they're only in the NFL to play special teams, and they have made 10-year livings off of it.
Yep.
Guys that have made multiple Pro Bowls, like Nate Ebner on the Patriots, Chris Maragos on the Eagles. You can play 8 years in the NFL and make millions just being a special teams guy. So very, very smart and wise vision on your part there for sure. The one thing I wanted to ask Dylan is a lot of people that watch defensive backs, they are quick to jump on Twitter and they judge if a receiver caught a ball, the DB is in the wrong. I want to ask you and give you the opportunity, as someone that actually plays DB, what is one thing you wish that fans or people that cover the sport knew about playing defensive back? Just something that always eats at you and you wish you could emphasize to, if there's anything like that. What would you like to impart upon people that have never played DB that you wish they knew?
So at the end of the day, there's no excuses. You get the ball
Right.
caught on you. Oh well, you gotta move forward. But the entire game of football matters. People just see the wide receiver, the quarterback, and that DB, or maybe the running back and the linebacker. They never see the offensive line, defensive line going at it. So if there's no good rush going in that backfield, it's gonna be a long day because it's so hard to cover for 5 to 7 seconds every single play and not get one ball caught on you. Like, people don't understand how hard that is because, like, you don't know what the offense is about to do to you. Only they know.
Right.
And you're working backwards. They're working forward. So, and then you're basically mirroring everything they're doing. So it's going to be a behind. And if you don't have a rush also that has good coverage, it's going to be a hard game, you know. So that's what I wish people would like see and like just pay attention to.
Right.
If you learn the trenches of a football team or just the game, you'll learn a lot about football because that's where it all starts.
Elite answer.
I wrote all that down to
Elite
keep a
answer.
note for the season.
Yeah.
So, no, that's a good heads up. Speaking of that rush, just like you said, incredibly important to a defense, especially, for the defensive backs, giving you guys a lot of help. How many dogs are we looking at here in this front for our Michigan State Spartans? Do you peek over at them at spring practice and oh, yeah, they're nasty?
Well,
what are you looking like? Okay, good answer. There we go.
I do. There's some guys. I mean, you got 8-Ball, Simeon Barrow, and that guy, he's a dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You got all the young guys coming in
Mm-hmm.
that are looking to play. Just got to gain some weight, but we can do that.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Just lock him in Brody for a month and, call it a day. It'll be great. That's the
Right. Tamisha is doing a really good job. I'm glad he's come here, help give us an opportunity and a better chance to win some football games. But just overall, as a front, we're doing a really good job, I think. And, you got Alex Van Summer and Maverick.
Yeah.
It's really matter those guys inside. I'm really waiting to see what Dre and JJ are going to do.
Right.
I think they're going to be really good together, especially on the inside, because that's where we need size at right now. We need depth.
Yeah, that's for sure. Last year, Michigan State came into the season with some good versatility there. You can move Jacoby here, you can have Brule as a blitzer, but half the unit got hurt, and then the rush wasn't there, and then the defensive backfield suffered from it. So they not only have better depth this year than in years past, they have better talent this year. So really excited to see it from that point. Dylan, I got to ask, Michigan State has hired new cornerbacks coach Jim Salgado. Obviously, the fans know him just a little bit from the background of who he's coached with the Bills, Tre'Davious White, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. What can you tell us about actually Coach Salgado as a person, having been coached by him for a few weeks now?
I mean, he's a great guy. He knows what he's doing. Has a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience. He has an acronym and a code name for everything that's going on in the field. It's hilarious. So sometimes he'll just put it on the corrections, and then he won't tell us. We got to ask him. We'll be like, oh, okay, all right, I got it now. Then you got to write it down. So he's really cool. I feel kind of bad for him because, his family's still back in Buffalo. So
gotcha.
He's here by himself and just getting to work. He wants us to succeed. His main goal right now is just get rid of the stupid broken plays where it's on us. And communication-wise, his main thing, he said, if you cannot communicate, if you can't beat yourself, how do you expect to win?
Yeah.
And that's facts.
For sure.
How many just really quick, how many times do you hear him say an acronym and you just act like you know what he's talking about? You're like, oh yeah, I got that, coach. How often do you do that?
Let's say about 20%.
Okay, that's strong. That's a good clip.
But then you ask him after the practice.
That's good. Got to keep the follow up.
What does he mean by that? Oh, okay. now I can help some of the other corners.
Right.
Love that. We're going to put you here on the hot seat, Dylan, because, just talk about Jim Salgado. You've also worked with Harlan Barnett and then Mel Tucker, all in the secondary here. So I just got quick, rapid-fire questions between the three of them. Are you ready to be put on this hot seat? That this could really shake up the rest of the summer for you.
Let me sit up a little more.
I know. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on answering these right or wrong here. So
playing time is on the line. No, I'm just kidding.
It might be. Who's to say? I don't know. Loudest coach between the three of them, Salgado, Barnett, and Tucker. Who is it?
Coach Barnett.
All right. Who is the funniest of the three of them?
Coach Tucker.
Okay, there we go. Who is the nicest of who's the good cop? Who's just the nicest one out there?
Coach Salgado, because he just got here,
Okay,
that's fair.
There you go. And let's say that you approached the coach and said, hey, coach, I need to go to Los Angeles, but I'm really afraid of planes. I need to drive out there. I don't have my car on me. Can you drive me out to Los Angeles right now? Coach most likely to say yes and get in the car with you to drive you all the way to Cali. Who would it be?
Between those three?
Between those three. That's right.
I mean, I'm going to have to beg.
Who on the whole staff?
Whole staff?
That's a good question.
Probably Coach Hawk.
Okay.
Gotcha. All right. Try that next time you're at practice. Bring up that scenario and see where that goes, and then report back to us, and we'll see if that worked out. If you could, if you don't mind.
Next viral TikTok, Dillon just goes up to all 10 coaches and asks them, "Can you drive me to LA?" And just it's a mashup of all their reactions.
Just 10 no's in a row. Perfect. It'd be awesome.
So Dillon, I have kind of just one last football question for you. When you were being recruited, a lot of eyes were on you. It was a battle between Michigan and Michigan State and others, but kind of that was like where the fans were fixating on. What was it like being recruited under such a magnifying glass where everyone is always looking at every little thing you post, you like, the gear you wear to a game? What was that whole experience like? And a year or two later, think you made a good choice?
I think so. I love it.
There we go.
Yeah.
So high school wise, I mean, really, you can control what is hype and what is not at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure you see that through Twitter with these really highly recruited guys. And really, you just got to watch how you talk. You don't want to give anything away. Because they'll blow it up and take it out of the ordinary, whoever it is, you know. And well, my thing was it was hard to, like, I said something and then that person went out there and just told the world. And I was like, wow, I didn't make the decision yet. Like, there's no way I was supposed to trust you. Like, I'm like, wow. Then my dad's taking me like, you're going there? I'm like, I don't think so. It's crazy. So at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like I ended up in the right place. I love it here. We're gonna win some football games. I'm working to win a national championship. Great coaching staff. Family is all around. We care about each other. No pettiness, and we want something. We want something really big.
Great answer.
There we go. I love the attitude.
Just makes me want to run through
I'm fired
a wall.
up. I'm ready for football season to start right now, man. That's what I'm talking about. Well, Dillon, thanks a lot, man. Really do appreciate all your time and hanging out with us. When we were dealing with some technical difficulties that were my fault at the start. So yeah, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. You're the best.
Actually, Dillon, what's your rap top 5? I had to ask you.
Good call.
I had to ask you before I let you go.
Good call.
Rap top 5. So we got Drake. We got Future. Got 21 Savage. Ooh, rap. Man. That's really all I listen to. Who else goes with that? Man, I can't even think right now. I should have thought more.
That was the hot seat question. That was the hot seat question. There we go.
No, that's good enough because you got Drake in there. Future, obviously, but 21. So I'm sure you loved that last joint album they had. But I see you on the caption game. It's almost always the Six God. So I salute you. That's what all my captions come from too. So
Gunna too. Gunna
this is true. This is true. Yeah. Gunna and Lil Baby too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
There's the 5.
There it is.
There's the 5. Perfect, man. Dillon, appreciate it. As Matt said, thank you so much for your time, and we had a lot of fun, and hopefully you did too. And thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
And I appreciate you guys. God bless you guys. Have a great night, and thank you again.
Yes, sir.
Go green.
Hey, go white. You're the man.
Dillon.
Just another great kid.
Yeah. Seems like we say that a lot, but it's true. It really is.
At the end of every interview, I'm just blown away by these kids, and especially as young too. Like we've had Carson Cooper on, Jackson Kohler, basketball guys, but like Dillon Tatum, a sophomore. Yeah. And speaking like a senior, great attitude. Love the head on his shoulders, and obviously love watching him play too. Love what we see on the field. It goes without saying. So
right. I loved covering his recruitment too. After a while, it became there was a lot of pressure on him, as he was saying, like, people will take every little word you do, turn it into an article. A lot of times when I would talk to Dillon, it wouldn't even be for a story. I think the last 3 times I talked to him after a game, it was just off the record. Gotcha. I didn't even have any intention of writing a story, and we had some great conversations. And you can tell that he was going to make the decision based on like the real factors that you would want a kid to make a decision off of: the family field, the development, the familiarity you have with the program and how you can fit in it. It wasn't going to be any of the other stuff. So it was great to see him choose Michigan State, and it's great to see him have the opportunity so young. He was on the field last year. It's going to be on the field much more even this year. So seems like it was a good decision, as he was saying, and you just love to see that when a kid makes a decision for the right reasons.
Hope he could stay just at one position the whole year. Hopefully everyone can be healthy enough where he can just stay in that lane the entire year. So, yeah, but hey, you know what? If not, versatile kid. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We're not done talking football.
We're not done talking football.
You're out of your mind if you think we're done talking football, especially off the heels of the spring football practice that was open to the public.
Yes.
That's right. In sunny East Lansing, Michigan. That's when the weather was fun here in Michigan. That was nice. 84 degrees, nice and sunny. As Mel Tucker said, it's like this in East Lansing at least 300 days a year. I love that. That got a chuckle out of me.
That was the best.
He never says any jokes, at least in front of a camera. So, like, when he said that, I was like, Mel, oh, my, we're feeling ourselves. Okay, look at you. So, that was nice for Mel.
That's how he started the presser.
It was great.
Walked in feeling good.
Yep.
I think he popped off 2 or 3 jokes before he kind of got into the presser.
Feeling himself.
So,
he knows he has a good team going into this fall if he's doing that at the presser and on Big Ten Network, like when the game was just starting to. So that's what we like to see here. No storylines whatsoever taken out of that game, right? No, we can just move along. We can just go to the Jesse McCulloch recruitment.
Sounds about right. And then we wrap it up after that. Thanks
for Excellent. I almost swore. Quarterback battle is going on right there. That is the talk of the town. People are fired up about this. There's a great contingent in Team Thorne, a great contingent in Team Kim, a great contingent in Team Houser, and that all boils together to one passionate pot of who they want to see as the quarterback. But also not just that, but also taking a look at like, oh my God, it is set in stone that right now Payton Thorne's the 1, Noah Kim is the 2, Katin Houser the 3 right there. How do you dissect what you saw on Saturday as far as Payton getting the 1 reps, Kim the 2 reps, and then Houser the 3 reps?
Matt, the way that I look at it, the way you introduced the topic in the beginning saying there were no takeaways, that is kind of how it should have been.
Okay.
This was a situation where, keep in mind, they had 2 prior practices of the scrimmage variety, private, closed-door scrimmages each of the last 2 Saturdays. This was the 3rd of 3 scrimmages. This was the shortest of 3 scrimmages.
Okay.
This was less than 33% of their scrimmage snaps in the last 3 weekends.
Okay.
This should not carry the weight that it is carrying.
But it was in front of cameras, Justin, so it means everything.
And because it was in front of cameras, there were probably calculated moves being made of what is being revealed.
Oh.
So not only is this less than 33% of the scrimmage snaps of the last 3 weeks, this is also the only one where there was an external factor of what do we want to show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For me, looking at it from that point of view, even before you talk about any press conference quotes after that or not, from approaching it from that point of view, I would have dismissed most of what I had seen in terms of rep distribution, not in terms of guys who flashed and things like that, like Jordan Hall and some of the other guys, Keyshawn Blackstock. The guys that flashed, they flashed. Kim even looked good.
Yeah.
Speaking of the quarterbacks. But
yeah, sure.
Those things, those are good and fine, but we still have to remember that this was 1 out of 15 total practices and less than 1/3 of the total scrimmage snaps.
Yep.
If you look at it from that scope, you really can't invest much of a notability factor into what we saw. Mm-hmm. I think there's a very real chance that whoever looked the best on Saturday was not who looked the best on the first Saturday of the 3 scrimmages.
Okay.
And as a result, who is to say that what you saw Saturday was truly indicative of the pecking order, whereas maybe it was simply just indicative of the competitive nature of how every single day someone is going at it. That's kind of how I look at the quarterback battle, Matt. I don't know what your thoughts might be.
Like, it's notable, but it's not notable. Like, yes, I do think that there is something to be said about that. They just played their hand. Like, they just threw it out on camera in front of everyone that, right now it is Thorne 1, Kim 2, Houser 3, but, like, I think that it might be a tighter field than we're all led to believe after just that half hour of scrimmage at the end of a practice. I mean, look, of course, Thorne, maybe we shouldn't be surprised at all that right now Thorne is the 1. This is the guy that has 30 starts under his belt. He was the quarterback for that Peach Bowl team. Like, he does have some experience and winning experience behind him. So, yeah, it's going to be hard to unseat, the guy in the chair in any walk of life, let alone starting quarterback on a college football program. And then, you had Kim, who had, I think, 2 of the best throws on Saturday. But just like you're saying, there's been a lot more than 2 throws the entire spring practice session. And then Houser, yes, he didn't get any of the 2-minute drill snaps, but, like, I'm not going to, like, put a ton of stock into that. Like, yes, he is the third guy, but like he could be that close to the second guy, and then maybe that close from the first guy, but he could also be this big. You just don't know, because you only get a 30-minute window of scrimmage to look at here. So yeah, but hey, a good chance for everyone to shout at each other on Twitter, which I gotta say, I did miss that a little bit. Just being able to scream at other people online over what we saw on a football field, that was missing from my life. Like, I didn't even know. And it's back, luckily. Also, do you know who got a lot of play on Big Ten Network? Andrew Shofar. That's right, the pride of DeWitt, who is probably going to be like the 4th or 5th string quarterback. But screw it, put his name in the mix too.
Yeah.
Like, let's get it popping.
Yeah,
So
let's really muddy the waters here.
yeah, if we're going to talk about guys that we saw a lot of him on Big Ten Network. But yeah, it's just like, just so much yelling, and I don't think anyone really does know how close this is, except for, get ready for this one, the guys on the team and the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Might be it. I don't know. It might be a crazy take of mine, but yeah. I know that we're supposed to like real rile people up and say, "Oh, this has to happen," or "This is definitely happening," but like, no, sometimes you just don't know.
Yeah. I guess we can close this particular topic by me touching on what you just said there. The guys on the team, they're not exactly sharing the sentiment of this being cut and dry in terms of a particular pecking order.
Okay.
As people that may be taking it away.
Okay.
And those guys would know more than I do, the guys that are on the team.
Maybe.
Those guys I would think would know more than most of us. So
Yeah.
the sentiment that is out there may not be the sentiment that is within the team.
Fair enough. Now, there is crazy. I just found this out before we actually started recording. There is another position other than quarterback on the football team.
No, there's not. Prove it.
I'll have to go back to the tape to really point it out to you, but it was everyone not wearing a red jersey on the field on Saturday. Anything else or anyone else stick out to you last Saturday?
Yeah, honestly, I was taking more out of the drills than the scrimmage itself.
Wow. Ball knower. Ball knower.
That is to be determined based on what I say and if that comes true in the fall.
Okay, stay tuned.
Actually, I'm glad to hear Dillon Tatum talk about him, but Caleb Coley looked very fluid, very good in some of the corner drills. Someone that I had been very high on back in 2021 before he got hurt, I want to say prior to the Purdue game, which he still played in the Purdue game, hurt, was Marquis Lowry. He looked good. He looked the most physical out of all of MSU's corners in 2021, looked the best in-press man. He got hurt later in that season. He was hurt pretty much all of last year. So him being back and being healthy was another thing that was impressive. So there was promise in the DB room. That's what I was looking at. The other thing, just the sheer numbers of the offensive line, the amount of different rotations that Cap could put in and work in there. You go into the spring kickoff kind of expecting, okay, maybe we'll see Blackstock, Duplain, Samac, Gino Vandermark, and either Brandon Baldwin or Spencer Brown as the 5. There were guys like Ethan Boyd that like you didn't even have in the depth, like I didn't even have in the depth chart. He's coming in just plugging right in with those guys. Yeah. You have Cole Dellinger like day one coming in, like being in there. So like there were so many moving pieces. Again, they were just trying stuff and it was fluid. It doesn't mean anything in terms of pecking order, but just the amount of different combinations they could make this year, so night and day from last year. But yeah, other than that, Jordan Hall looked good. I think it's very early to be saying stuff like this, but from what I've heard all of spring and kind of what I saw from his high school tape to begin with, I think Michigan State has their long-term answer at Mike after this year.
Yes.
Might need to fill in some coverage linebackers around him, but that can be arranged through the portal and stuff. So I think there's a lot of promise. I think a lot of the young guys in the DB room, we had already touched. We don't need to revisit that, but there's a lot of promise with young guys, versatility, and depth at a lot of spots.
Yeah, and just two guys I want to point out on offense that really caught my eye was Nathan Carter. I mean, the transfer from UConn. We've heard a lot of good things about him this spring, but obviously he was out there with the ones. Doesn't mean that he's for sure the starter. No, but like, wow, when he got that ball in his hands, again, I know this was spring practice, but like there was just a different buzz with him with the ball in his hands.
Moves
like
different.
He's got power right when he gets handed the ball. Right when that ball reaches his gut, it's go time for Nathan Carter. And saw it last year in the 4 games at UConn, like he was leading the country. With yards after contact. And then also Tyneil Hopper as well. Like, he came in here from Boise State billed as a blocking tight end, and that's great. Experienced guy. This is his 18th year of college, so you expect something good to happen. But my God, this guy blocks like a right tackle. Like, it's unbelievable. It's great. So Tyneil Hopper, come right on down. So he was playing with the ones.
Yeah.
I'm sure that could just depend game to game. Starting tight end does not matter. Like, that changes.
Right.
By
Matchup
the play,
dependent
so.
and what your game plan is on a given day.
But regardless, if you're in the run game and you see tight little Hopper out there, you're feeling pretty good if you're running the ball to his side.
Yeah.
As good as you could feel maybe about a tight end.
Yeah.
On that side. So, yeah, those are just two guys that I wanted to mention really quick.
Very well said.
Yep.
Very well said.
Thanks. I try. I just masquerade as a ball knower, so I do my best.
You pointing out a blocking tight end is the peak of ball knowing. That right there.
That's right. Wait until I start talking kickers here in a little bit. We're really going to start cooking. That's right.
Let's continue to talk about football.
Not the only thing that happened on Saturday in the football realm.
Logan Bennett.
That's right, Logan Bennett.
Logan Bennett is 6'5.5", as you see his commitment graphic on the screen there. Plays for St. Francis Academy in Baltimore, Maryland. They play a national powerhouse schedule, so the tape that you see, which I highly recommend seeing, is very impressive in that regard, because he wasn't just doing that to just random guys in suburban Maryland.
Right.
That was a real schedule. And I guess I should be used to this. A lot of people, they look at the ranking, and that's just how they form their definitive opinion.
Yeah.
This right here is a scenario where people should be able to discern whether, they got somebody later in the class, not that highly ranked, it's because they missed out on guys, versus, they really prioritized this kid in April even before official visits started. They really like this kid. The ranking shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
This is a guy Cap likes, and for good reason. Let me turn on the tape and look at it. Like, I cannot fathom somebody putting more weight in the rankings for an April pickup before you strike out on guys across the board and taking a negative view to this. I can't do it. Maybe that makes me biased. That blows my mind.
I don't think so.
I think when you have a guy like this that you trust your own evaluation in, and you are convinced that you know what you're talking about as an offensive line coach, as Coach Cap, and you have the opportunity to land someone, you go ahead and do it, because this is what happens if they don't push hard.
Yeah.
A kid like Logan Bennett, I don't know his exact plans, but that's what most kids would do. He would then go ahead this summer and he would go on a camp circuit.
Yep.
He would camp all up and down the East Coast in ACC country, Big Ten country. He will go down to the SEC, maybe even take a trip out west. He will go ahead and pick up anywhere from 12 to 20 more offers. He will go up to 4-star status, and then you have lost any and all advantage of finding him early. And then the fan base, the same ones that are saying, why did you take a kid that's 85 ranked, would be like, we found this guy early and we don't get him.
Yep.
So, like, I don't understand the alternative here, and I guess maybe it shouldn't matter, but I kind of saw that, and that was just irritating. But I think Logan Bennett, this is a kid who's going to come in. He's going to play guard at Michigan State. Could play tackle, but I think the projection is for him to play guard for now. Great size, prototypical. Pick up there, and I think this is a great job by Coach Cap once again, adding a second offensive lineman of the month. Thoughts from you, Matt, if you have any on it?
I trust Coach Cap, look, and you can check me if I'm wrong here, but I mean, Michigan State has their eyes on plenty of 4-star offensive linemen, and maybe sometimes, and this isn't offensive line specific, but they might say, hey, you know what, you have the offer, but we're just going to give it a little bit of time, see what some other guys do here. Not to call you a plan B to your face, but
right.
It's kind of the situation here. Not the case, and there's plenty of time until national signing day, plenty of time until those 4-stars make their decisions. So this kid's good enough to say, hey, yeah, come right on board. If that kind of turns off one of these 4-stars we're after, so be it.
Yeah.
We don't really care all that much because we believe that you are that good of a player. And also, after seeing that kid's picture, is that guy 33 years old? Like, oh my God, like it looks like he's been playing in the NFL for 10 years. That's what I want to see, man. This kid was born to play offensive line. I love it. So no, I call me crazy here. I am going to trust Coach Cap though.
Yeah.
And his recruiting. He's the guy that might be recruiting the best of anyone on the staff right now, especially in last year's class. But I'm gonna defer to that guy. Yeah.
Sounds like a wise choice.
Thanks. Yeah, I'd like to make those every once in a while. Not often, but got to mix it up.
Yeah.
Got to mix it up. Yep.
So Matt, continuing along this trajectory of recruiting, portal season is in full swing.
You got that right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Saturday was the opening date of the spring window of the transfer portal. It will continue on until the end of this month, so pretty short time, just about 15 days, 16 days. So Michigan State will have, in my approximation, which could be off by a spot or two, they will have 4 spots.
Yep.
I believe they had 2 entering this window prior to the attrition of Tank Brown and Hamfey leaving.
Yep.
So if my rough math is correct, that has about 4 needs right now, barring additional attrition. The way I look at it, and I will bounce it to you after if you agree, is I look at it as there's not a lot of spots where you need a starter. I think there's a lot of spots where you could use depth, but in terms of a starter, maybe a safety next to Jaden Mangum so that you can have a bridge year of an upperclassman, a senior that's played a lot of ball, before you then have a pairing of maybe Malik Spencer and Jaden Mangum. Maybe just adding another corner into the mix as well, because Charles Brantley, Dillon Tatum, Marquis Lowry, Malcolm Jones, Caleb Coley, these guys are all promising. They're going to have great careers here, but you can always add competition and maybe somebody that's proven as well. Can't hurt, and you then hope in that scenario after you get that guy, somebody like a Dillon Tatum or a Caleb Coley beats that player, and then the floor of your position is higher. That's kind of the way that the big-time programs do it. So those are 2 main needs that stick out to me. And then beyond that, I look at young coverage linebackers to put around Jordan Hall after this year. That one might be hard because right now there's probably not a kid that's transferring in the spring that is willing to come in and sit again for a year.
Right.
Because most of the reason they're leaving right about now is because they didn't start in their depth chart pecking order. So that one might be hard, but that's where I would look as well, is find young, maybe a freshman, sophomore kind of a linebacker to put around Jordan Hall after this year. And then a different receiver than what you have now. You have Ken Coleman, that's a great possession receiver. You have a reliable upperclassman, Trey Mosley, that's balanced. Tyrell Henry looks very promising. He's not really a take the top off the defense kind of guy. He's kind of more of like a Jaden Reed, speed and space kind of guy. I think you can get maybe a deep threat that you kind of like not a Deshaun Jackson type, because those don't grow on trees, but that mold.
Not really. Yeah,
so
right.
if you can find someone like that, we saw Alante Brown from Nebraska here on a visit. So those are kind of the 4 needs that I look at, like safety, corner, then a slight drop off, more of a depth piece, looking at maybe a young coverage linebacker and a different receiver than what you have now.
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, it is a far cry from the fall-winter transfer portal window. It's a lot less sexy, but it is still important because you can get a lot of depth here from these position groups and the kids entering the portal. This is from Max Olson of The Athletic. He actually wrote this piece today. This was a number that was fresh this early afternoon. Since the weekend when the spring transfer portal window opened, 230 kids have entered the portal. 2/3 of those kids have never started a game. Now, the rest of the 1/3, it's either guys that maybe have started and then lost their starting position, or let's be honest, hey, maybe they are starters at their school and they enter the transfer portal. They probably have arrangements to go to a different school on a different deal, but I didn't say that out loud. But so really, you're not going to get a plug in and play starter as easily as you could in the fall window. So everything you just said, I mean, yeah, I've been screaming up and down about it all off season. Just more depth in the secondary. You can have more of that. Now, you know, again, we like the young talent that's on this team, but excuse me, as a Michigan State fan, I saw 79 injuries by the time November even rolled around. Like, I just want every position to have 15 guys in the depth chart. I know it's not possible with scholarship limits, but just humor me here. Just load up on depth wherever you can, best available. I think it's going to be more defense prominent than it will be offense. I don't think offense needs another quarterback. I don't think they need a running back. Their offensive line seems healthy. I don't think they need a 45th tight end. So just load up on defense with the 3, 4, 5 scholarship openings that you have, whatever that it is. And also, I don't know if this is a scholarship thing or just a preferred walk-on thing or whatever it is. Just try to bring in 15 kickers if you can. Like, look, I know we got Jonathan Kim coming in here. I want some competition. Like, I don't want to put the entire season on the leg of just Steven Rusnak or Jonathan Kim. I mean, hey, both those kids could have great seasons. That's awesome. Then just have the other 13 kickers on the bench. But, like, I want a war chest. Yeah. I need a war chest of kickers, Justin. I need some competition here, and whether that's through the transfer portal or asking one of the 55,000 kids that are undergrads at Michigan State to step right up. Like, please, get me a kicker, please. I'm fine. It's okay. I'm fine.
I do not disagree.
I'm not fine.
We will see. We will see what Jonathan Kim can do, but his biggest asset was he had one of the best legs in college football in terms of touchback percentage.
Oh, yeah.
But not a great sample size. Really no sample size.
One PAT last year.
So
I think one field goal 2 or 3 years ago as well. So,
so he's a guy that I like to have in the fold just because you know that the other team will be starting at the 25 pretty much every single time, and you have potential as a long field goal kicker, but another guy in there would be nice to kind of have maybe a sample size, maybe a kid from D2. I see, I'm not going to be able to remember the programs off the top of my head, but there was a Power 5 program that added a kicker from East Tennessee.
Okay.
And there was another Power 5 program that added a kicker from a university that I did not even recognize.
Okay, good.
And I think that is the route you go when you look for kickers.
Yeah.
Because if you get a kicker from another P5 school, chances are that you're not going to have a proven sample size on them. That kid probably can kick since that's the reason he's up here, but you don't know that for a fact. But you can get a kid with like 35 field goal attempts back at East Tennessee. You have something you can point to as evidence that, okay, this kid can kick. So we'll see. I think I agree with your stance there, but we'll see what's available.
It was Florida State who landed that kid from East Tennessee State. That's right. That was going to bother me the rest of the night, so I had to look that up because I remember seeing the flash, and I was like, yeah, that's not a bad strategy, actually. I like that. So, yeah. Way to think about that. So, good looking out. There we go.
Yeah, that kind of puts a bow on the portal strategy there. I think that's kind of what Michigan State can do, and we'll see who's available, and we'll see what they can get.
Doesn't put a bow in football talk, though, because as we go into To Our Facts One is Whack, is that what we're doing next?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Here's to be the case.
Let's go. To Our Facts One is Whack. That's right. JT, I believe you got it right last week. You smoked this one. You hit this one out of the park. So look
3
at
and 8, I believe now.
We're going for a repeat right here. This is to get you on. This is to get you heating up before you're on fire. I'm trying to remember my old beer pong rules from good old Cedar Village. All right, so 3 statements. 2 of these are going to be facts. 1 is going to be whack. And I guess, are you ready? The theme here is spring football. Spring football.
Yes, I am ready.
And the spring football, spring rosters. You'll
there better be a question about Draymond Green and pads at the spring game.
Not this time.
Oh, you failed.
I did, kind of, a little bit. Justin, it was statement number one. It was warmer at MSU's spring game than it was at Florida State's spring game this year. Statement number one.
That one's true. I got a sunburn at the MSU spring game on the back of my neck.
Nothing here. We're gonna take a pause here. Nothing but respect for the people that sat just like in the bleachers in the beating sun for 2 hours. Like, you're supposed to do the whole thing like, oh, you can't judge fandom. Everyone's a fan in their own way. Like, no, you absolutely can. Those fans that sat out of the shade in the bleachers for a spring practice for 2+ hours on Saturday, those are Spartan dogs right there. I know we're doing Spartan Dog of the Week in a little bit, but you know what? Let's just do 2 of them. One of them, any fan that showed up there, because it was a beautiful day. It was awesome, but eventually those UV rays step up to the plate here and knock you out for 12 rounds.
Yeah,
so,
it was hot. And Sean Cooper from C4 Sports, as we know, the trainer for David Stone and a lot of those guys. Yeah. We ran into him at the spring game. He was wiping sweat off his forehead and said it's hotter than Texas up here.
Yeah, so, let's go. That's what I'm talking about.
I think he's an authority on hot weather.
There we go.
So it was very hot.
If that lands us David Stone, if he loved the weather, like, am I pro global warming? I don't want to say it out loud, but like, we'll see how his career goes.
Now we're gonna be canceled, Matt. Great.
I like 5 stars a lot, man. I don't know what you want me to say. If I got to idle my car in my driveway for a little bit just to get more of these 5 stars, I'll do what I got to do. I don't know, man. So statement number 1, it was warmer at MSU spring game than it was at Florida State spring game. Statement number 2, MSU has the most tight ends on their roster of any Big Ten team. MSU has the most tight ends on their roster of any Big Ten team. This is a number that was also updated after Hamp Fay entered the portal, just for the heads up.
Oh, great job.
I'm really on it today. The third statement, the defensive line has the most 5th and 6th year seniors of any position group on MSU right now. You got this. We believe in you.
I updated the Excel sheet that has every single position and class.
Okay.
Last night.
Oh, God.
At like 1 a.m.
Oh,
so it's like it hasn't even been 24 hours, and I don't even remember. Shoot. There were 4 guys that are 4 guys. There are 4 guys that are 2018 class super seniors.
Yeah, that sounds right. Sure.
Jarrett Jackson is one of them. He's a defensive lineman.
Okay.
I do not recall the other 3 off the top of my head.
Okay. That hurts. That hurts. Maybe. I don't know. It could hurt. It could help.
The middle one, I'll just say whoever does have the most tight ends, if it's not Michigan State, I'm going to go become a fan of them. That's real football.
Sure.
You got to get down there.
In its purest form. Yeah.
Yeah. That's real football. Just line up 3 tight ends.
Yep.
So I'm going to be curious to see the answer to that. I would guess it's Michigan State, especially since Jalen Franklin, PWO, came in addition to Tiny Hopper coming in. Evan Morris is still there. Obviously, Jack Nickel, Michael Masunas from 2 classes ago, Brendan Parachak, Malik Carr, as you know.
Ademola Filet.
Yep. You really just only lost Tyler Hunt, and you added like 4 guys. I'm going to have to guess that is also true.
Okay.
And the first one, like I already said, like that one has to be true. So, but the third one also is true. I'm like,
three are facts, none are whack. Wow.
I'm just saying, it feels to me that that's true, as the only super senior I recall from my doc last night is a D lineman.
Okay.
But I don't have a choice, because I firmly believe the first two are true. So
Okay.
I'm locking in my answer, Matt. 3-9.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Defensive line does have the most 5th and 6th year seniors of any position group on Michigan State. They have 5. Defensive back, tight end, offensive line all have 4. Now,
Wait. Can you read the statement again? I'm sure you said it right.
defensive line has the most 5th and 6th year seniors.
5th and 6th.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
I was only going off 6. That's why I said there's only 4 on the roster.
Okay.
No, that's my bad. I should have.
We're going to patch in Owen here. Owen, if you're listening, you can edit all this out, right? Even during the live show. If you can edit all that out, we'll just act like he got this right. That's okay. All right. And then we'll cut it so it sounds like we're celebrating right now. Yay! You got it right. The two true statements. It was warmer in East Lansing. It was 84 degrees when the spring game started. It was 82 degrees on the Friday afternoon when Florida State had theirs. So that's right, Tallahassee.
Frozen tundra.
The frozen tundra of Tallahassee. That's right. And then MSU does not. Oh, wait a minute. No. Hold on. I'm going to have to do this here. What did I say was whack?
You said the third one was whack. The one that had the D-line as the most. Well, so you read it as D-line has the most.
Yeah, and they
5th
do.
and 6th.
And they do.
And you said it was. So there were all 3 were true, even though I misread the third one.
No, because MSU does not have the most tight ends.
Oh.
That's what it was. You said the third one was whack. I'm sorry.
Okay.
My brain is scrambled eggs right now. I'm sorry, everyone. This is just
It's a
terrible
new time
podcasting.
slot. It's late at night.
Yeah,
Understandable.
way past my bedtime. No, so yeah, the third one was whack. Sorry. Jeez. You know what? You don't keep my record on this, but I'm taking an L for how I've structured this. MSU does not have the most tight ends on their roster of any Big Ten team. They have 9 tight ends on their roster. Michigan, Wisconsin, and Iowa also have 9. Justin, get yourself to Lincoln, Nebraska right now. Get your Cornhuskers shirt on, because they have a dozen tight ends on their roster. That is right. Matt Rule loves himself a tight end in Lincoln, Nebraska. 12 tight ends.
You know what's interesting,
What can you do with all of them?
So you said that the teams that had 10 were Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan, right?
9 with Michigan State. Michigan State has 9 as well. Yep.
So those 3 teams and Nebraska, traditionally tight end heavy, power I run kind of teams, right?
Yep. Corn Belt football.
However, Wisconsin, they'll be shifting to an air raid this year.
5 wide.
How will that work with all those tight ends?
It's a lot of slow slot receivers. Let me tell you. That's right. You're splitting out a 6'3", 250-pound guy out wide and just saying good luck.
You're going to have to hope 1 or 2 of them are Dallas Goedert or George Kittle.
So go get him. I guess. Luke Fickle's going to figure it out one way or another.
Yeah, a lot of time in the sauna, get them down to 242, and they'll be just running seam routes.
Right. I love it. Yeah, just line up a tight end at the Z, throw a jump ball to him at the end zone. It's going to be a flawless offensive game plan. I'm sure it'll all work out, right? Yeah. So, healthy in the tight end department here. So that's what we had for 2 our facts. 1 is whack. Everyone, I'm sorry that took such a journey to get to what the truth actually was, but in the end, we got it right.
Yeah. I'm 3-9 as expected, so.
There we go.
Yeah.
Do you know who actually picked up a big dub recently?
I have a feeling that you're going to tell me.
It's going to be the Spartan Dogs of the week. It is the Dodgeball team. That's right. They didn't just win the national title over the weekend. They did it in overtime. And they didn't just do it in overtime against some team. They did it against 11-time national champion Grand Valley State. And it puts a bow on their perfect season. That's right, I did not misspeak. Perfect season, 19-0 in the regular season going into the national tournament down in Ohio last weekend. And the core 4, that's right, the core 4 of Jack Gerling, DQ McLean, Barry Butler III, and Josh Kramer got it done. All seniors, they've been together since they were freshmen, and they rose to the top to not win in regulation, because that's boring. Who wants to do that? You want to put a little bit of sizzle on your steak. Let's do this in overtime. Let's get the program's first national title in OT, and that they did. So, dodgeball team, that's right, as we always talk about on the show.
MSU is now a dodgeball school.
I'm afraid so.
Yeah.
Them's the facts. Them's the breaks.
That's one thing that you'd love to be blank school up. Dodgeball, like that's just
Oh yeah, dude, it's awesome.
dodgeball, handball,
Yeah.
underrated sports.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like the state of Michigan does very well at dodgeball.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Shout out to my buddy Jake Lico, who is a former dodgeball player at MSU. He helps with the team, I believe.
Let's go.
Super fan of the sport. Basically says that the state of Michigan is the dynasty of college dodgeball, as you pointed out with Grand Valley there. That is obviously prevalent in their success.
Dude, they're unbelievable.
So
it's great.
yeah, so I believe this is only the second ever undefeated season in college dodgeball.
Wow.
And the last time was 2008. So it's a sport on the rise, and it is a good sport for MSU to be dominant in, and it appears that is exactly what they are.
Have you ever seen like them play? I was gonna say dodgeball, but like not the movie. Have you ever watched college dodgeball? Because it's on you. It's still on YouTube.
Yeah,
It's like
they
an
stream.
8.5 hour stream.
Yeah.
It's great.
They need to get it on ESPN Ocho.
Dude, it's like my elbow tendons were screaming at me watching these guys throw the ball. These guys, like I thought, like okay, obviously they're really good. They're undefeated. I figured they would throw the ball hard, but like it was almost twice the speed of what I thought it was going to be when I tuned in to watch. Like it is incomprehensible how fast they can throw the ball and not need Tommy John.
Yeah.
Like just right on the court
Right.
after they throw the ball.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I reached too far back to grab like a water bottle behind me, and I have my whole
outta
shoulder
there.
cramp up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
believe it.
I need like Roger Clemens PEDs just to be able to like carry anything in my arm after that for the next few hours.
Yep.
These guys are just throwing Aroldis Chapman heat-seeking missiles.
Dude, it's nuts
Yeah.
out there. It's great, dude. That's a great Roger Clemens callback. I love that. Yeah. Oh no, that's my wife giving me vitamin B injections. Yeah, that's how I start every morning. Not with a
Yeah.
cup of coffee, but hey, honey, you mind shooting me up with vitamin B?
Just
Goodness gracious.
a little too many accidental B12
Hey, when that happens.
daily multivitamins.
Oh, honey, did we do this already? I lost count. Oh, it's
Yeah.
our fourth one. Oh,
Yeah.
shoot. Hey, when that happens. Who's knocking on our door, by the way? Is that investigators? Oh, whatever.
While Andy Pettit is in front of Congress admitting to it, but no, his teammate Roger
Oh.
Clemens. How could he be part of the same conspiracy? But
It was the best. Like you got Sammy Sosa, like claiming he doesn't speak any English in front of Congress. You have Mark McGuire just crying. Like it was the. We've gone off the rails officially now, but yeah, anyway, congratulations, MSU Dodgeball Spartan Dogs of the Week. But like, dude, like that whole saga with baseball just burnt into my memory. Just how like SNL like it was.
Yeah, it was like all these big time players getting like crushed, and then the Phillies like had like barely any good talent by then, and then platoon shortstop Freddie Galvis gets hit with like 100-game suspension. Couldn't even watch the Phillies that year. It was just what a time.
Dude, I forgot what year it was, but one time Navy Perez for the Tigers got popped with PEDs, and he had to be suspended for 60 games. And honestly, it was a godsend because he was hitting like 163. Like he was doing just horrible, and so that really helped the Tigers chase the playoffs. Is benching Navy Perez for 60 cool ones. God, great time. Another great Tiger steroid thing is like just when Pudge came back, like 50 pounds lighter. It's like, oh my God, wow, what did you do in the offseason? It's like, oh, I just cut bread on my diet. Like, oh, it's not the getting off the performance enhancing drugs that everyone's getting popped for. Like, no, don't be ridiculous. That's nuts. No. I'm walking up the stairs instead of taking the escalator now. That's what's going on.
I think we got to start adding like a scandal of the day to like all of our podcasts at the end. Next week we'll discuss the Shanghai Sharks and the match fixing happening in the Chinese Basketball League.
Yes.
We will dive deep into the implications behind Eric Bledsoe and Michael Beasley. He is, yeah.
Jimmy Fredette's still on the team or no?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think he could throw a game. He's already horrible enough at defense where like it looks like he's throwing the game anyway, and like I just don't think he has a missed shot in him.
Right.
So I don't think.
I don't mean to bring Mark Titus up every episode, but
no, let's do it.
Was listening to his take on this.
Yeah.
This is very interesting, Matt. Do you know the baseline of like what Chinese basketball should look like? Like just yes or no. Like do you know like what it exactly? So what if they are just that bad?
That's a great right.
Like
I know it was almost a perfect crime.
Right, exactly. So then in that case, like if you're the losing team, it's almost like a cop out. Like we're actually not that bad, even though we are.
Yeah.
It was because we were cheating. Just
wow.
You allocated to that. You've been given a cop out.
I never thought of it like that.
But like inside, you're so embarrassed because like you are being portrayed officially in public releases from your league office as being cheaters because of how badly you played. And if that was not intentional, you got to retire. You absolutely have no choice but to hang it up and just walk away.
Devastating.
Yeah.
With a capital D.
So we got to be grinding out Chinese basketball tape and seeing if that is baseline level or if they truly were throwing it. Got to see how it stacks up with the Black Sox scandal. And
it's right up there. Wow.
We'll report back.
That's that gives me an idea though.
Yeah.
I might be reaching out to like some like Ugandan professional basketball or like Philippine national basketball and saying like, hey, can you guys
do you have a spot for Ben Simmons?
play? Yeah, do you have a spot for Ben Simmons? Yeah, that's how we're gonna start throwing games. We'll just put him on the team immediately, and then just play a little worse than you already do because like the threshold isn't that high anyway.
Right.
It's genius.
It's maybe a market to exploit.
Dude, this is great.
You got extra capital. We'll start to arrange games overseas.
Awesome.
And
Owen stopped recording, right? This isn't live. We're not.
I don't think we ever started recording.
Oh, good. Okay, Dylan, come back on. Oh man. Well,
yeah.
How many people do you think are listening right now? How many people do you think are listening right now? 4?
Like 4.
Okay.
5.
And 3 of those people have broken phones that have just froze and they can't physically turn this off.
Yeah.
And then the other person's my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my parents, when they put it on the devices and just walk away, and that'll count.
That's at least 2 of the 4.
We're at 6.
A smooth 6. That's right. All right. So, well, once again, having a hard time landing this plane at the end of the episode, and I take full blame for that. So that's our show. We did it.
Yeah. And hope you enjoyed the conversation with Dylan and the spring football talk. And we will be back next week. And that does it for this week's episode of the SD4L show. And thanks for tuning in.
Please close your eyes, turn around, and count to 9. When you open them, I will be gone.